nothing to it. Go ahead and bring a
What's up, everybody? My name is Toby. I'm one of the coaches at Restoration Advisors. Having a little technical difficulty. Normally, I'm not the one running the show from the front. I'm normally in the background. So, anyway, we're talking about a post in the Restoration Nation community about positivity. Robert Murray made a great post, and it lit it up. So I want to jump into that. I'm going to go over some of the positive stories that we had come through there. But first off, I think before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Kahi. Kahi is a asset tracking platform, and they integrate with a lot of the CRMs and the job tracking and job scheduling systems out there. They have the in-vehicle dashboard cams, things like that. Great platform. Kevin Dooley does a great job. So reach out to Kahi. Kahi.io is the website. It's not a .com. It's Kahi.io. Reach out to them and figure out what they're all about. We got 4 viewers. Welcome aboard, everybody. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're at. And if you have a positive story, you can't call in. We'd love to pick up through the chat what you got going on. First and foremost, Sarah Hamilton. Sarah Hamilton said that every Monday, I thought this was great. Every Monday, they have a different team member share a positive message, and it goes out to the entire company. So it's oddly, she thought it was ironic. I didn't think it's so ironic. I felt like it was pretty well planned. It happens on a Monday. Mondays are normally everybody's still sleepy from the weekend, and but I thought that was good. That really helps establish a tone for the week and gets everybody kind of in a mindset to have a good week. So she said that one of their positive things is that their team had met one of their goals for 2022, and the first quarter isn't over yet. I wonder if maybe they either they've got some really good marketing and sales going on, and they're doing a really good job, or maybe they undersold them their capabilities. But either way, it's quite an accomplishment to reach their goal in the first quarter. Robert, the guy that made the post about having some, getting some feedback on some positivity, he said he was just coming off of some ups and downs in his personal life and moving forward. Professionally, he started to get more settled into his role and the differences in his role versus some of the other roles that he had been in. He said he'd been focusing a lot on time management. It's an area he'd always struggled in, and that he'd been being intentional and reading and learning what he could to make the subject of implementing my takeaways. So he was making real noticeable progress and having small wins day by day. So time management's always a struggle for me personally. I've tried the whole calendar blocking thing. I found the most success in making a list every day to help me with my time management. I've gotten away from that recently, but we had a mastermind last year, and we all did that as a group within the mastermind, and some of the folks, Brenton actually from California actually went and bought a notebook and a pen, and he kept those two together at all times, and he noticed a big improvement in his time management. So, Robert, if you're listening, maybe that's another thing that can maybe take you to that next level of improving your time management. But either way, it's a good win for the week for him. We had another person. I didn't get actual permission from the following people to mention their names. But hey, Robert, what's up, buddy? So I'm not going to share the names, but we had someone else say that they had gotten a signed off on a completion of a $300,000 mold and recon project at a tiny, tiny little software company. For their company, it was the largest single project in their history, and they really believe that there's going to be a lot more opportunities to come from it. So, another win for one of our friends in the Pac Northwest. And here locally in the Mid-Atlantic, we had, actually, I'm going to say his name, Bernie, the Burn. He's a good man, and he's always very, very supportive of us, and I believe he is all on board with us sharing that he took his entire ownership and management team to Disney World this year to celebrate their 39-year anniversary. That is quite an accomplishment. So, well done, Bernie. We love having you in our circles, and lunch is always good, my friend. For me, last week I shared a post on Robert's post in Restoration Nation. For me, I had a great client win. They got it. They implemented a process that we had been talking about for a while, and with phenomenal results. They were able to walk in and pick up a pretty significant check from a customer, and they just stroked it straight away without having to go through some of the other hoops that they've been through in the past. So that was a really big win across the board. And then more on a personal note, we had a client, or someone in Restoration Nation had a minor heart surgery that was a success. That's no small thing. So well done there. Anybody else listening? We got 5 people watching. I'd love to hear from you guys. Any other wins? Don't see any comments. You know, I had hey Gordy, good to see you, man. I love keeping up with your country dogs, Miranda Lambert and the like. A lot of fun. Gordy, what's a win that you've had recently? I'd love to hear it. I had written in my notes, and I didn't bring it over here to read some of the Discipline Equals Freedom field manual, but it really helps with Jago's approach is very literally black and white, and if you've read his field manual, he actually has inverted everything in the book. That it reads completely different than any other book. Everything is aligned to the right. The pages are black and the letters are white. But for me, it's really helped me to focus on the words and cut out a lot of the noise. But his he wrote a piece about discipline equaling freedom, and you can find a lot of positives if you cut out the noise. And if you have discipline consistently every day, it allows you to see the positive things without being stuck on the negatives. So this might end up being really short. I'm not used to doing this, and my notes are running very short already. might have to get Clark in here to give his 2 cents. Gordy said, we had a great turnout for your first invoicing and trauma class and created a bunch of new winners. Students are reporting larger bank deposits already. Man, that's awesome. I was wondering how that was going with you guys. You've been promoting that trauma class for a while, and it seems like there's a lot of interest out there for it. So, well done. Well done. That's I said it the other day in the Facebook groups, but you've achieved legend status, my friend. I was glad I was able to meet you in Atlanta a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago now. And, man, what a beautiful car you got. Or your wife. I'm sorry. I'm not going to take that away from Sheila. How do you guys impose positivity? It's something that you have to choose to do. Some people like to get out and take a hike. Some people like to sit in a quiet space, Some people like to put some headphones in and jam out to some music. I find that books, Audible, is one of my best friends when I'm looking to change my mindset. Um, we've got a whole library of books that Clark and I both have found to be helpful, and we put them on our website, restorationadvisors.com/book vault. So be sure to check that out. There's a whole list of they're business related, but a lot of us are leaders and learners, and sometimes focusing on bigger things in our business versus the stuff in the day to day can really help get us out to that 50,000-foot view. We got a caller coming in. It sounds like 833-262-2410. Who do we have on the line? You know what? Hold on. I forgot. There
Robert.
we go. Who do we have on the line?
Did I put him in right?
Oh. We got the wrong. Robert, how you doing, buddy?
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good. Hey, man, I can't thank you enough for your contributions in the group. What do you got going on this week? What's your positive story for this week?
So I posted in there last night that I actually got a chance with a restoration owner that I talked to quite a bit, who's a new owner. I got a chance to meet his whole crew and teach them a little bit of Mika and some ability, and just basically just talk shop with all of them. And it was a really good experience. I actually really loved it. To be honest with you.
Good. That's awesome, man. Teaching, I've always enjoyed teaching. I struggle to talk to a camera, as you all can tell, but I've always enjoyed getting with a group of people and just collaborating, man. There's nothing quite like it. So what was your, obviously you've been working hard to get to a point where you can teach. But what was your big takeaway from that for you personally? Like, obviously you got to share and you enjoyed it. What did you learn from that teaching moment?
So so for a while there, I thought that my passion for the industry was, very, very, very slim. Like, a lot of people didn't have it, but talking to this group, I've seen that there are a lot of people that still do have the passion for it. Other than everybody we talked to in groups, talking to you, talking to Clark, and everybody else I talked to, it was good to see that there are people coming into the industry that do have that passion.
That's really cool. And you know what's funny? Clark and I were at the Mid-Atlantic chapter event for the Alliance of Independent Restorers yesterday, and I experienced the same thing. There was some seasoned guys in there, but there was also some fresh blood, shall we say? And there was a lot of fired up guys that they want to make the industry better. They want to learn all they can learn, and make it better, like you said. So I think it's more common than what the Facebook groups kind of display. It seems like those groups can get a little watered down with monotony of negativity, but when we meet in person and we talk to people, I think you're right.
And that's why kind of what brought me to the conclusion to actually make that post. Because I mean, besides what's going on, in current events and things like that, but a lot of that I was looking at some of those other groups, and I was like, man, I don't like this. So I wanted, the Restoration Nation to be different and focus on the positivity.
Yep, and you've done your part, man, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it for sure. Well, man, what anything else you want to throw out to the listeners as a parting shot?
No, like I said, if you see me in there, hit me up. Like I said, I can talk about the industry for hours. I don't mind it.
You like talking shop, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, taking the time to call in, and again, we appreciate your contributions in the communities. Keep it up, buddy. All right. Robert's gone. We appreciate him calling in. He is a great guy, dedicated restorer up in Maryland. So, good stuff, Gordy. I see you having another class in June. That's awesome, man. Keep it up. Continued success to you and your team for sure. Another thing that I found personally, Clark and I talk about it often, is social media. It's a great tool, but it can really get your mind focused on the negative. The algorithms work against positivity for some reason. There's a great docuseries kind of show on, or it's more like a movie, I would guess, on Netflix, that talks about the formulas and the way social media is designed to keep you coming back. And it's borderline terrifying, but if you watch that, you can understand how it pulls you in, but then it also, by understanding it, you can also hopefully break the cycle. But turn off social media. That's a great way to get your mind out of the negativity and focused on the positive. Be focused on the present, on your community, on your family, on your clients, on the job. More focus on the job produces better results 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10. Clark and I both have personal goals of being able to get off of social media. We do a lot of our marketing there, so it makes it more difficult, but we have personal goals of being able to get off of that completely on a personal level and only use the platforms for our business. It's a great platform for business, and that's part of the reason that we started a platform off of traditional social media channels that we call Restoration Nation. And like Robert said, we want it to be different, and we are personally at this point involved in vetting people that come in, as well as vetting the comments and the posts in the community. So we're very serious about keeping it educational, about keeping it positive, and having a strong sense of community within there. Another thing is, look at who's in your circles. It's really easy to just deal with bad characters. In fact, I did a poll here recently that I'll be putting out into a blog later, actually probably next week, about some decisions that leaders have made, things that they wish they would have done differently in their business. And one of by far the most popular was they kept people that didn't fit their organization around too long. And that's really easy to do in this climate that we're in with it's hard to find labor. Really hard to find labor. So a lot of times companies will deal with bad characters and not get them out and make their culture better because they're afraid of losing a body. There's lots of pros and cons of both ways, and you just have to measure that for your own business. But who's contributing to the noise and the negativity in your life? Think about that. And is it the news? Are you watching too much TV? I know I've personally stopped watching mainstream media, TV, anything like that as it relates to news. It doesn't do anything for me. It brings me down, gets me depressed. So I've personally stopped doing that, and I'm well on my way to getting social media out of my life as well. But news and politics are easy to pick on, but toxic relationships in your family, it can be hard to get rid of those. And I don't want you to get rid of your family. I'm not suggesting that, but toxic relationships are just going to affect your life. And then toxic work environments, and I kind of touched on that a minute ago, about having bad characters in your business that are bringing your culture down, bringing the people down around them. and you really have to check in and measure the benefits of keeping someone like that around. Again, we've created that community where our focus is to try to keep a positive environment. So, Clark, Joe, we were talking about getting this podcast together, and Clark said something about getting your Mario mushroom so that you can build that ball around you that makes you impenetrable to negativity. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Level up. We got some more messages. Silva Warrior, good vibes. That's right, buddy. Clark might have some. Clark's got a couple things to say. This is very impromptu, so he's going to step in. But I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. That's going to be cozy.
What's up, man? I did my hair, everybody.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're all good. Talk loud.
Hey, hey everyone. I just wanted to come chime in, give a little breath here. I heard what Toby said, and I think the staffing is a real big part of it. And what we're not careful of is, while it's hard to find people, we do pick up the wrong people out of necessity, but we also burn out the ones we've got, and they work too long because some of them won't tell you to stop. Some of them, I like to tell everybody, when I used to do cat work, 12 days was the time that you would send people back home because they hit a wall. They may not know it, and you may not see it until day 15, but by that time, it's probably too late. There's some damage that's going on, stuff like that. So just really, really, really pay attention to that, because a few dollars in revenue are not worth losing those that are putting up with this with you while you're going. But, on the theme of positivity, I think about all the phone calls that we've had lately. We're business coaches. People call us. They don't call us always when things are great. They call when things are bad. And I just noticed that this industry in the last few years has caused people to keep the boxing gloves on a lot more times than they're not. And we're arguing with insurance companies or TPAs. We're arguing sometimes with customers, trying to convince them that we aren't the crooks that we're portrayed to be. We're doing that all the time, and you just get really, really tired of doing it, and it bleeds over into everything else. We're trying to build a company with culture, but you're spending your time negative. Just in a bad place. You don't have a clear head. You can't think of the path to take because you only think of the path that you're on. And everyone is watching. And so your team watching you, even though you're righteous with trying to collect your money, they're seeing what you're capable of, especially when you hang up the phone and talk bad about them. These are just adjusters and claims people. They're not out to make you go broke. That's not the job. They're just doing their job. And, they're just doing what they're paid to do, what they're scripted to do. They probably don't know the ins and outs of your business. They don't even know what they're doing. We talked about this yesterday with Doug and the APA. It's not intentional. They're not trying to crush you. They're just trying to be profitable as a corporation. But your team is watching, and that's your culture. And you're like, man, I work for a really, really pissed off dude because nobody pays them. They get it, but they're like, this isn't fun for me. And so I like to tell everyone, if doing all of that causes you to be that angry all the time, somebody else needs to do your collections, because your space, your head, your mentality needs to be applied to a lot more things than just that. You're not the only person in the world that can follow processes to get paid. So just be cognizant of that when you're dealing with your staff. I think we got some comments here.
Yep. Robert said you can lose good people holding on to the bad ones, and that's so true. That's such a fine line to balance as a leader. And we have these conversations all the time, for sure.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer can go leave one part of the body and hit another part.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Trey said my wall is 30 days, but everyone has their limits. It's important to check in with each individual to see where they're at.
Yeah, Trey, I'm talking more. I guess my experience has been more in catastrophic situations, and New Orleans, Florida, hurricanes, earthquakes, and it's not always the work. It's not always the long grinding days. I think they can do that at home. It's usually the combination of being away from home, not having services, driving an hour and a half, 2 hours to put your head on a pillow. Just no communications is a lot of times a real big stress, so they can't talk to each other or their families back home. So that's the thing. I was just using that as an example, but I think your team is watching you, and especially if we start trying to train processes around this negative mindset that nobody wants to pay us. So what you put out into the world is what you get back. So I think it's important. All the problems that we're having to run the business, some of that should be shielded from everybody else. They need to see how to communicate with customers, how to deliver their stuff, and to train others. They don't need to be thinking about, God, the boss is going to be mad today because this job is not collected, or, oh man, I broke a piece of furniture. Something got broken or missing. I don't want to tell the boss because he's already mad, and now you've got a problem that you're going to find out later. So it just really, really, really bleeds into a lot of different things. You agree with that?
100%. Civil Warrior. So difficult these days to maintain a positive company culture. So many differing opinions. Not going to show up.
Oh, it's not on the screen?
Oh. So many differing opinions of what is happening on the world, and a disagreement can severely alter the company culture. Difficult, if not impossible, to keep things professional. How do you handle that sort of thing? That's a big one.
You got it?
Go ahead.
I think, Blaine, yes. I have a belief that there have always been polarizingly opposite opinions on things, whether they're political, whether they're football teams, whether they're anything. Spiritual is a big one. And obviously wars happen because of these things. But, it's probably not till the last 20 years where people felt, well, if someone doesn't agree with me, then they don't deserve me or my time. This real absolute black and white finality of it all. And I think people have forgotten that other people just don't, they just have viewpoints based on where they come from and and just not the compassion. And I guess the word might be mercy and grace, right?
Yeah.
But that has to come from the top. That can't, Robert Morey. Robert works for Built, and his company is good. But if he's from, he's not at the bottom. He's in the middle. But if he's the only one trying to push positivity both ways, that's a heavy boulder to carry alone. Yeah. It has to come from the top. Other people have to see it. It has to become infectious and stuff. But Blaine, I think it's really the book that I've got is that. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Great book.
Great book.
It's
don't be dissuaded by the title, and don't think it's all terrible. It's just the title. It doesn't mean don't care about things. It means just be real careful what you care about. If someone doesn't agree with me on anything, a Second Amendment right, neither one of us are in legislation to change the laws. We're just having a discussion and a disagreement, and it's absolutely fine. So I think people putting things in perspective of what's really important and what's not. Again, political is probably the biggest thing. I was watching a guy today rant on Facebook, that's what it's for. It's ranting. About he's disgusted. He's disgusted and angry that there are emojis on his Facebook or his Apple device, not even Facebook, Apple device that tend to lean towards transgender. Just don't use the goddamn emojis, man. I mean, come on, dude.
Choose your battles.
I'm not going to get into the argument. I think people deserve to be happy. I don't care. That's one way to look at it. But, dude, are we really going to – because what that does is – and I think I remember looking. It was like 45 posts. 45 people, or maybe it was 2 people, 23 and a half times, 22 and a half times, that just get into this pissing match, and their whole day is ruined. Not only are they not productive to do something because they're on there, but Oh, we got another comment? Okay, I'll shut up. Let Gordy talk. Why didn't Gordy call in?
I know Gordy.
Gordy, I'm calling you out, man. Does your phone not work? Did you not pay your phone bill?
Gordy said, you don't have to wear all the hats in the company. It took about 10 years to figure that out. Don't be afraid to delegate, just even to hire a bookkeeper to start off with. My real growth and success did not start until I shared and delegated responsibilities.
You know what's ironic? Every time I see him, he's wearing a hat. He's right, though. Delegate.
Yeah.
Spend time on what you need to, but also what makes you happy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, that's really, honestly, that's really one of the reasons that I wanted to get into this business in the first place was I owned a business for a long time, and I learned quick. Well, before that, I was in corporate, and corporate ate me up and spit me out. I didn't have time for anything except for work. Then I got into my own business, and I said, you know what? I'm not working all the time.
We'll go get that phone call.
And you don't have a call, bud. You don't have a call. You're good. I had my own business, and I refused to work all the time. So I put systems and processes in place so that I could work, I could make the money I needed to make, so that I could enjoy life. And that's really what I want to help other people do is to be able to do just that. And Gordy, you're 100% right. You've got to learn to delegate. You have to learn. But in order to delegate, you have to have clear structure in place. Otherwise, it's a colossal failure. So we got Ryan calling in. Folks, 833-262-2410. You can call in and talk. We got a couple people calling in. Let's bring in Ryan Strickland. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Toby? I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm living a dream, my friend. Living a dream. I appreciate you contributing, number one, to the post that we're talking about today, but just in general, man, you're alive and well on the LinkedIn and always sharing good stuff. So you're definitely contributing to positivity, and we appreciate it. What's your story for this week?
Awesome, man. Man, I wanted to share a little experience that I had really over the last couple of weeks, and it's something you and I have worked on, and just directed towards just client billing. And Clark I think I listened to one of his podcasts it was toward the end of the year, and it was directly related to the client billing and just the frustration that goes behind collections, the AR, how long it's taken, some of the situations you find yourself into once you complete a job and submit it to the carrier, as we say, for payment. And you and I discussed in a meeting we had recently about, just having correctly onboarding our clients. And, just in a brief 15 minutes, we kind of bounced around a few ideas, and we took the approach, we decided to, let's take this approach. And so we started having a conversation with our clients, letting them know, we're providing emergency service, and when we're done, we're going to submit a bill to you, and we're going to expect payment there at the end. And from there, you're going to take our invoice and, submit it to your client as a cost incurred, or to the carrier as a cost incurred, and, they'll reimburse you for your cost, just as a way to, one, help keep our revenue coming in and not sitting and waiting for 3-6 months for those payments. So we took that action, and probably the last couple of claims, we adjusted our approach with the client when we first got in there with them. We talked them through the claim, and we let them know the process that we'd be going through, and they were aware that at the end of the job, their payment was going to be due. And it was just something as simple as a conversation. I mean, it really wasn't that difficult. I think 80% of our losses are probably, in the ballpark of anywhere from probably 6,000 to 15,000, and depending on how much there is. So it's really not very difficult for the property owner to come up with those funds and figure out how they're going to do it. And it's refreshing, that's for sure. And then we've completely begun to eliminate some of the back and forth that we have after we've done our work, and then someone comes in and starts picking through the work and saying, no, we're not going to pay with that.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay for that. This
Well,
isn't
yeah,
what we're going to do.
I was
you
going to
know,
say,
so,
you said that you cut out a lot of the back and forth, and waiting 3 to 6 months to get paid. Well, you've radically increased your profits because of the time that you've saved not going to battle, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just the
That
time factor
that energy
alone.
saved from doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, man. I super happy to be on the journey with you for sure, but the win was just as big probably for me as it was for you, man. I was pretty stoked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, it's I think all of the restorers out there that may be in this groove of we're going to take the burden, we're going to submit it to your carrier, we'll follow them for payment, and we're going to be getting payment from them. It is a little scary. But when we took this, we're just frustrated. Is it going to work every time? Maybe not perfectly, but at least there's a conversation and everybody's aware. But, it's a matter of just taking a step and saying, okay, well, I'm going to try something new. The way we've been doing it's not working, and we're just going to change our communication. Words matter.
yeah.
It's how we present those words and say, this is how it's going to go. And it's open. There's nothing hidden there. And it really does work if you put together a strategy and a plan, and you keep communication open. I think that's where everything really kind of made a difference. It was just the communication level and the expectation there at the end. So really awesome. I mean, that was just a huge win for us.
Good.
Massively positive. People in the office are like, wow, I can't believe that happened. I was like, yeah, I know, but we got to try it. You got to try it. You got to work on it to see how that works out. Really good. I encourage anybody to try to do that. And great. So
Cool.
appreciate y'all having me on, man. Enjoying the podcast.
Good. You also had a personal win too. You want to tell everybody about that? Did I lose him?
Oh yeah. This is you're talking regarding our.
You got a little one.
The staffing.
No. Personal. It's all good. I'm gonna let it slide. Be good, buddy.
Okay. All right, man. We'll holler at y'all.
All
See
right.
you. All right.
Looks like we got another one. Again, but everyone, we are waiting to talk to you about your positive experience in the last week or two. We got, let's see. Where'd he go? There he is, Gordy. Let's bring Gordy on. Gordy, how you doing, sir?
Mr. Toby.
Good to hear from you,
I got called out, so I called in.
There you go.
Great to hear from you, too. The trick to this is don't look at the screen on my end because of the delay that throws me off.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, don't look at the screen. So what's your win for the week, man? Obviously, you guys had it sounds like a great class, and you guys have already gotten some feedback from that, man. That's awesome. It's such a good feeling when you're able to help people like that.
I tell you, the message we're sharing is that back in like 1996 is actually when the industry evolved itself and started being recognized, when some folks got together in Tennessee and they shared like interest and ideas and, what equipment are you using? What's your process for this? And then a few years later, a few of those folks broke off and decided to become educators. And through that period of time, we had a standard of care created in the industry. And so what my goal is now is to create a standard of care for invoicing in our industry, because, if you use fire, water, and mold, if you're in Indiana, New York, Florida, if you're in Australia, the verbiage is always going to be the same, because if you're not using Xactimate, you're using the Xactimate verbiage to keep the adjuster happy. The problem with our industry is that there is no fluid language in line items and how to back it up. And I'm tired of seeing folks get beat up. I mean, we get beat up by adjusters, and I'm getting beat up. I hate to think what, some folks are getting from their end. Right. So what we're doing is we're sharing documents, paperwork, contracts, as well as an invoicing process on on what line items to charge for, because I've seen other people's invoices and they're leaving a lot of money on the table. And so if we can level this playing field with the invoicing, I think it's, all ships rise with the tide, and that's what the main goal we're shooting for.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a great class. How many, you guys had quite a few people, I'm sure, and you got some positive feedback. So that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. We appreciate
we had 17 students for our first turnout.
Good stuff. Very good. Well, appreciate.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, we got Brian Daltrey up next. Let's get Brian on the phone. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Toby.
It was good to meet you
I'm
yesterday,
well, sir.
man.
How are you?
Good. You got home safe, I take it?
Yeah, you as well.
Good stuff.
I'm en route right now.
Very cool.
Yes.
What's your win for the week, man?
My win for the week was yesterday, and our Mid-Atlantic Regional Air meeting that we had, which was about 15 different owners from different areas within that region, and just a lot of positivity and good feedback, and guys really getting some great networking opportunities and figuring out how to better collaborate and leverage each other. Anything from just general knowledge and, talking about billing like the last call, it's, figuring out SEO strategies and just really good collaboration stuff and people learning from people. Good stuff.
It is, man. This industry is full of really cool people, and I come from my background is in transportation, and we had to really get away from this notion of competition. And in the blue collar world, competition seems to be really prevalent. But I like the fact that within air, everybody sees each other as a team versus a competition. So the collaboration that you were talking about, helping each other out, I was blown away. It was really cool to see everybody come together, and that's new guys just getting in the industry and some seasoned vets like yourself. So it was really cool, man.
No doubt. Co-opetition is how I like to refer to it as.
I like it. We're gonna have to tag that. We're gonna have to keep that. It's good stuff.
There you go.
Man, I appreciate you calling in.
That's right. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I hope you guys have a great afternoon.
You too.
Take care.
The delay is really hard on here. Yeah, there's a big delay. So sorry about about it being jumpy, everybody. Brian, I appreciate it. It sounded like you might have had something to say, and I cut you off by mistake, but we'll keep rolling with it. Let's see. Silver Warrior dropped in. Toxic people are not the problem. Allowing toxic people to have the keys to your spiritual and emotional house is the problem. That is, I see where you're going there, and I like that. Again, it goes back to the old bubble, right? Don't let people inside that little bubble level up and own that relationship. That's good. Clark wants to jump back in.
Hey man, I had to go work for a minute, pay the bills. Hey, listen, Toby, let's challenge everybody.
I like it.
I mean, a lot of times this shit dies right here, and it's a great afternoon. We're riding high. We go home.
Yeah.
And tomorrow it's the same old crap. I want everybody just pretend that you are a first day employee working for you. How would you want the person you're going to work for you're being around? I mean, if you come to one of my classes or an event that I'm doing or my house, and I'm just bitching the whole time and I'm just negative, you're looking for the door. You're calling Uber. You're getting the hell out of there, right? So others around us are that way. So maybe the challenge is it's real easy to be negative. And there's a lot of stuff hate, but you're not the only one dealing with any of that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people hating gas prices right now. There's no secret that gas prices are high and it's hurting, and it doesn't need one more post on Facebook about it. So let's just talk about hey, man, this is a good reason for me to travel a little bit less and stick in the office and work on something that I haven't done in a while. And so, the challenge is don't fall back into the negative too quick, Don't, catch yourself. Imagine that you've got somebody watching. Guess what? I mean, most people here are probably parents. Your kid's watching. So just be aware of that stuff. I'm as guilty of it as anybody. I get caught up in the next thing and I roll out. So
I mean, that was me today. I mean, I had to go take a walk earlier.
I'm worried about you.
I had to clear my head. Just take a walk outside, clear your head, and come back and grab it by the horns and go. Get your head right.
Let's let all the differences in the world be our challenges to understand better.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
I'm out, guys.
Yeah,
I'll let Toby
everybody, we're gonna wrap it up here. Love to have one or two more calls if we can get some folks listening to call in real quick. 833-262-2410. We'd love to hear from you, or drop a comment if you must. We'll try to take a look at it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notifications from us. We do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. I think we've got some new I think I saw some comments from some folks that we haven't seen before. And we really appreciate you jumping in and listening. But we do this every week. Call in, put this number on speed dial, 833-262-2410. We are the only one in the industry that we're aware of doing a live call in. So, a lot of people have guests on the live stream, and that's cool. We've done that some, but we wanted to change it up. We want to hear from the technicians in the field, the folks in the office that are doing some of the back office work, the estimating that don't necessarily go out in the field, but they have time to listen in. Just take a few minutes and call. Different topic each week, and it's a lot of fun. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe there so you can get notifications. This will be turned into a podcast and released on Friday morning. We try to get them out by 10 a.m. Also, today's episode was in part from the contributions of Robert Moray in our off Facebook, off traditional social media platform called Restoration Nation. So join us there, restoration-nation.net. There's a little link that says if you're not a member, you can click there to subscribe, and it'll take you to a place where you can let us know that you'd like to join. And also, our blog comes out every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. We're currently running a series called The Voice Of, and we're doing the voice of the industry is kind of what we're focused on for the month of March. And last week we had what was the biggest mistake that you made as an owner or a leader when you got into the industry, or actually in your career, and I referenced that earlier. The biggest takeaway from that poll was the fact that people were hanging on to bad characters in their business too long. So that was really an interesting takeaway. All right, folks. Clark, anything else? I think that's it. Robert, instead of focusing on the world's problem, give your attention and energy and trust to love, abundance, education, and peace. Man, that is so good. Realign your focus. Get your focus on the things that really matter and the things that you can control. Don't worry about the stuff outside of your control. It's so easy to. Man, it's so easy to. All right, folks. That's going to do it for us at the Disaster Podcaster. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. disasterpodcaster.com.